Good morning. So I am Jennifer and I am a slave of Jesus Christ. So I wanted to talk about weed and Christianity. Is it okay for Christians to smoke weed? No. The general answer is no. Prescribed by a doctor, let's put a pin in that. But is it something that Christians should engage in? No. Why? Now, this is coming from somebody who used to smoke weed. When I was a teenager, I used to smoke weed, but I stopped smoking when I was 17 because I mixed that with alcohol, and I was at a party and I was blacking out and I didn't realize it. At the time, I was like, why does it seem like I keep going to different places? Like all of a sudden I'd be in a different place. And then I would be in a different place. And then I would be in a different place. And I didn't get the revelation till later, a lot later, like, oh man, I was blacking out that night. That's what was happening. So yeah, I didn't need much more than that than to say it ain't for me. You know, I retired from the military and I tried it again, thinking that it was going to be different. I just didn't like it. I just didn't like it. I even tried it as a Christian, but that didn't work out. I don't know. I just wasn't feeling it. I didn't like the way how I didn't feel in control. I didn't feel like feeling like I was in that gravity machine. I just didn't like it. So this is not talking from someone who doesn't know anything about weed. I know a little something about weed. However, it's not a thing that Christians should do. It's simply not. I don't, of course, do that or dabble in that at all. I tried it a little bit like years ago and it just, like I said, just wasn't for me. But here's the thing. I want you to consider this. Why are you smoking weed? Why are you choosing to light up your joint, light up your blunt? Why are you choosing to smoke it? And think about it. Is it because you feel restless? You need peace? You feel anxious? You need to be calmed? You need to be soothed? And you're sober in your right mind? You're not used to it, so you feel like you got to be under the influence? Think about these reasons why. Those are the reasons why you need to go to Jesus, not to weed. You want peace, go to Jesus. You want rest, go to Jesus. You feeling calm, you feeling anxious, you feeling unsettled, you need to go sit at the feet of Jesus. You need to let Jesus provide all of your needs according to his riches and his glory, not weed. Weed is not the substance you should go to. You want to be sustained? Go to the bread of life. Go to the living water. Go get your sustainment there. It's not through weed. And rarely do people say, I'm going to just smoke weed once and then 6 months later, I'm going to smoke it again. No, it's usually on a continual basis. Do you know what you're opening yourself up to when you're doing that? You're under the influence. Your ability to make sound, rational decisions have now diminished. You're in a depressed state or you're in a heightened state, depending on what strand you use. It affects your judgment. Do you understand that what you are seeking that thing for, weed for, is the thing that Jesus can actually provide? And not just in a moment, but for time to come. Don't you understand? You're feeling that way not because God is having you feel that way. God doesn't produce anxiety and stress and all that and fear. Where is all that coming from? That's coming from the devil, because God offers you a sound mind. He offers you power. He doesn't offer you the fear and all that other stuff. So how is weed going to help that? No, you need Jesus. That's what you need. So what is it that you turn to? And that's a whole bigger conversation. Are you turning to friends? Are you turning to TikTok? I mean, where are you turning to? Because you really should be turning to Jesus. So now let's get back to the topic here of weed. They like, all weed is natural. Weed grows from the ground. Don't you know cocoa leaves grow from the ground too? And they like, oh, but you got to do something with that. You got to do something with weed too. I know a little something about weed. You got to pluck weed up. You got to dry weed out. You got to break it up. You got to put it in something. You got to put it in some blunt paper. You got to put it in some joint paper. You got to roll that thing up. You got to lick it and make sure it's all nice and tight. You got to set that thing on fire. It ain't as natural as we talking about. Come on now. You ain't just pulling it out of the ground and eating it. You got to do something with it. You got to process that thing. So now let's talk about the prescription. Now, what we're not going to do is say, sweating. We're not going to say, oh, the doctor prescribed me medication and I decided not to take the medication and I'm just going to rely on Jesus. No, don't you know the Lord uses people in the medical field to be able to provide healing? Let's be wise. Let's be wise. Okay, let's not operate in folly. Let's use wisdom in making these decisions. And those are things we could pray over too. So if a doctor prescribes you marijuana, because what he's saying is other alternative methods are more harmful to your body than marijuana is, and they prescribe you marijuana, then that's something you need to take to the Lord. And that's a different situation, because what does it come down to? It comes down to the heart posture. I'm no longer doing this because I'm trying to escape these feelings of anxiety, these feelings of fear, these feelings of all of this stuff that I need to take to the Lord. A doctor has confirmed that this is what it is that I need to take. That's something different. I know there's kids that suffer from seizures and all kind of stuff like that. And I know that there are adults that suffer from Parkinson's disease and all kind of other stuff. And marijuana, excuse me, just happens to do an amazing work for them. That's different. That's a different heart posture. You're taking weed casually, recreationally. No, that's a thing that we need to be able to seek the Lord for. The Lord is going to provide what it is that we need in those situations. See, we got to be willing to turn over even our needs over to the Lord and let him deal with it. Prescription medication is one thing. Prescription marijuana is another thing. But if we're taking it so we could have peace, calm, and anxiety relief, so we won't feel depressed, as an escape for our issues or our problems, do you know who will help you with that? Jesus. Try